Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're looking at something fascinating and deeply unsettling.
Mm.
We have these narrative fragments, almost like excerpts from a case file, about a series of events titled The Snowman Comes.
And our mission here is, I think, pretty straightforward.
Hmm.
We're going to treat this dramatic narrative as if it were a stack of real reports.
Exactly, we're looking for the hard data, the patterns, the profile, the MO.
Right, to really understand the threat they're laying out.
Yeah.
Because even if the story is fictional, the details inside it, they build a very clear, very chilling picture.
And that picture starts with just sheer panic. The numbers alone are what sets the stage.
Immediately.
They establish this relentless pace of violence. The sources confirm 6 victims.
6 victims in just 2 months.
Yeah, 3 a month. For any small town, that's just catastrophic.
And it doesn't even stop there. If that rate wasn't bad enough, the behavior is accelerating. It's speeding up.
We've seen that in real cases, right? The time between attacks gets shorter.
Exactly. The perpetrator gets more confident or maybe more desperate, and the sources point to this specifically.
The recent spike.
The recent spike. 2 bodies found in a single week.
That's an exponential leap. You go from 3 a month to 2 in 7 days.
The threat is no longer a possibility. It's immediate. It's happening right now for everyone in that town.
And that urgency, it's completely tied into the killer's MO, his method.
Which is all about psychological torment. It's not about being discreet.
No, not at all. The sources are so clear on this. The bodies are left outside like displays.
And out there like trophies. This isn't about hiding a crime.
It's about communication.
It's a spectacle. He wants an audience. If you look at the psychology of that, it tells you everything.
Right. Hiding the evidence means you want silence. Displaying it like this, the source even says the killer wants you to look at him.
The violence is just the medium. The public spectacle, the fear. That's the message. It's an assertion of power.
He's forcing the whole town to look at what he's done, to acknowledge their own helplessness.
And the sources add these 2 little physical details that they really hammer home the brutality of it.
The first one is, it's really chilling. It says the killer leaves pieces behind, which suggests it's not just about the murder, it's about a ritual, a kind of intentional gruesome signature.
Yeah, that detail points to a huge emotional intensity, a need to shock, to burn the image of the crime into everyone's mind. But then there's the second detail.
The environmental clock.
Exactly.
The urgency is tied directly to the weather forecast. They have to find him before the next storm or we're all buried.
So the environment isn't just a backdrop. The snow, the cold, it's part of his strategy.
Which makes you wonder, is he using the storm for cover?
Or does the storm signal his next move? It's
Okay.
the setting, but it's also the deadline. It makes the hunt feel almost impossible.
You're fighting the clock, you're fighting the frequency, and you're fighting a killer who wants you to see everything.
Yeah, that leads us to the most difficult part of this whole profile.
Who or what is he? Is this even a person?
The sources just throw the rulebook out the window right away. They state it flatly, this is not a man we're hunting.
Which immediately takes you out of standard criminology and into something else entirely.
And it creates this incredible paradox in the profile.
The nice cold ghost with a pulse.
Right. A ghost is invisible, untouchable. But a pulse, that's life, that's physical, that's something you can, stop.
How can investigators even process a profile like that? A nice cold ghost with a pulse.
Well, it suggests he's a master of deception. And think about the behavioral detail they connect to this.
He hides behind a smile.
He hides behind a smile. So he's not some monster lurking in the woods. He could be anyone.
Your neighbor. Someone you see every day. Someone who leverages that trust to do these horrible things.
Which would explain why the evidence trail is so impossible.
Yeah.
To get these witness reports.
Yeah.
Tracks in the snow.
The physical proof. The pulse.
And then, suddenly, nothing. It could just melted.
If he's a man, he's got a flawless way of covering his tracks. If he's a ghost,
well,
vanishing is just what he does.
But the sources don't let you just accept the supernatural answer. They pull you right back.
With that key line.
Yes. The narrator says, things don't scream and bleed from melting.
That's the anchor.
That's the anchor point. No matter how the tracks disappear, the victims are real. The screaming, the bleeding, the pieces left behind. This is a living, breathing predator causing real physical harm.
So the vanishing act has to be a tactic.
It has to be. It's psychological warfare. Make the town, make the police believe they're hunting a phantom. It's the perfect cover for a very clever man.
And a patient one. The source says the entity chooses its nights.
It's not random, it's planned. He's watching, waiting for the perfect conditions.
The right weather, the right opportunity, whatever he needs to maximize the terror and minimize the risk.
Which brings us back to that chilling metaphor about the chase.
That you can't hunt him.
You can't. You don't catch winter, the source says. You wait for it to take you.
So he's not just a criminal anymore. He's positioned himself as a force of nature, an inevitable disaster.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A strategic killer who uses the environment as his camouflage and deception as his primary weapon.
But then the narrative takes this really sharp turn. It shifts from the how to the why.
And the question becomes an indictment of the town itself.
Yeah.
Why us? Why our town?
And the answer the source gives is just. It's the most damning thing in the whole file.
Because we let it in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just reframes everything. The blame isn't on some external monster that just showed up.
No, it suggests the town is responsible, that this is a consequence of their own. What, negligence?
Yeah.
A moral failure.
It has to be. If you let it in, you saw it coming. You saw some version of this threat and you ignored it.
And that turns the whole investigation on its head. It's not just a manhunt anymore. It's a crisis of accountability.
So the bodies, the trophies as you called them, they take on a new meaning.
Yes. Maybe it's not just about his power. Maybe it's punishment. He's forcing the town to look at the consequences of their inaction.
Wow. Forcing them to witness the result of their own failure. And this idea of what's visible versus what's underneath, that brings us to the title, right? The Snowman Comes.
It does. Because the snowman itself, the immediate horror, isn't actually the point.
Right. The source is explicit about this. You think this is about the snowman, it's about what comes after they melt.
And that's the core of it, really. For you listening, this is where it gets deeply philosophical. The snowman is a symbol. It's temporary.
It's dramatic, it's terrifying, but it's made of snow. It will vanish.
And if the real terror is what comes after it melts, then the snowman is just a distraction. The murders are the symptom, not the disease.
So what's left when it melts?
The deeper threat. The thing that was there all along, hidden under the snow, the structural failure, the reason the community let it in the first place, that's the darkness that remains.
So to recap for everyone, what we've pulled from these sources is it's a terrifyingly complex picture. We have a killer with this cold environmental signature.
An escalating timeline, 2 bodies in a week, which is just unbelievable.
A chilling need to put his work on display, like trophies, and this almost supernatural ability to just vanish.
And critically, this entire machine of terror is framed as something the town brought on itself. They didn't just face an enemy, they let it in.
So this deep dive, it leaves us with a predator who is a ghost with a pulse, hiding behind a smile in a race against the weather. But I think the real thing for you to ponder, the part that sticks with you, comes from that final warning.
The idea that this is all about what comes after they melt, after the symbol of the crisis is gone.
It makes you ask a much broader question, doesn't it, beyond this story?
It does.
What does the melting of any temporary crisis, the one that gets all the attention in the headlines, what does it reveal about the deeper, more dangerous threats that were hidden underneath it all along? The threats that maybe we as a community simply chose to let in.
And that's the real dread, the kind that stays with you long after the snow is gone.